All right, guys, back at the desk with Heather Bergeron and Justin Judkins. We're going to talk about the next 3.5 weeks. The 6-week competition of the Open is over. Now we have a little bit of time in preparation until the regional competition. You guys are both coaches. You have access to some elite athletes. Heather, you're going to be in the competition yourself. So
I made it.
You made it.
I made it in regionals.
You know what? I made it on
Thank
Friday,
God.
and then I got bumped down. So it's I don't know that we'll draw any conclusions from this, but let's talk about some of these folks that we've spoken to, how they're going to approach the rest of these 3 weeks on the way to the regionals. Heather, let's start with you.
Okay.
For yourself.
My own training, I guess. Yeah. So my approach to opens was that I didn't want to go too fast too soon. So I kind of went with what Graham's kind of philosophy was. Like take time to ramp up, and then once you start to get to that right time frame, like before regionals is like my time where I gotta go hard. Right. So I just don't feel like going 12 weeks ahead of time. So the opens, I treated it like it was just regular programming, worked it into my programming, but without taking days off ahead of time or strategizing or doing workouts twice. I just kind of threw it in. So
interesting. So, but as an athlete, it's got to be tough to not be at the top all the time, right?
Yeah. I mean, psychologically, it's really tough. Yeah, you see names get up there on the board ahead of you, and you're kind of like, I know I can beat these people, but you got to try and stay true to your programming, or else you're going to start seeing your weaknesses get worse, and and you might get good at that one workout, but it doesn't mean anything.
Sure,
really.
and maybe that's like a mark of maturity, and we'll see.
I'm a mature woman. Right?
We'll see how it works for you. JJ, you heard some similar things. You just got off the phone with a few athletes.
I did. A few hours ago, I spoke to Dan Bailey. Something similar to what you're doing. The next 4 weeks, his regional is a little bit farther out, but for the next 4.5 weeks, he's really going to ramp up the volume, which is in contrast to how he trains normally throughout the year. But for 4.5 weeks, he's going to ramp up the volume. He's told me that he wants to mirror what a regional competition will look like. So he'll be doing several WODs in a day, and then for that last week and a half, he'll kind of taper it back a little bit.
Interesting.
Yeah, you see a lot of athletes doing that. We talk a little bit about periodization, and the idea that in typical periodization you build up a strong foundation base, and then you kind of taper as you get closer to your competition season.
Right.
In a way, that's kind of what we do. We figure out like if we need to build up our strength, then we spend a fair amount of time working on whatever it might be, deadlifts, front squats, whatever. And then as we get closer to our competition season, it's more focused on weaknesses and things that we're hoping right now that don't come out of the hopper, but it's stuff that we're working on now.
No doubt, yeah. And so more than anything, really, we've heard a lot of these guys who are not necessarily changing their approach, but they are hitting those weaknesses that were possibly exposed by the Open, but that they know that they have to work on.
Well, and our season is somewhat different than normal sports too, because a weekend on, say, for a soccer game or a football team doesn't look the same as the weekend at the games per se. So I think that they're adding that more volume, and as it gets closer to the competition, to prepare for those days.
Sure.
Yeah. You've got a lot of athletes, like I just got off the phone with Dave Lipson, who trains with Camille LeBlanc-Bazinet and Austin Maliolo, and they're working up to 6 WODs in a day, like legit WODs. Yeah.
All the time for
six a day, 2 on, 1 off, and that's their plan for the rest of the season.
Wow.
Yeah,
and maintaining the intensity though.
I don't know that they can go hard at it. Christy Phillips is a totally different athlete, where she spends, she uses all of her energy in one workout, or maybe 2 that are short back to back though.
Yeah.
And she just goes hard at that one. So she puts a lot more intensity into one, whereas Camille and Dave are getting a lot more volume in a day, which is more what you're going to see in the regional competition. So the day of regionals, they're going to be more likely, prepared for the amount that they have to produce, but that they may be lacking intensity.
Yeah,
but
I mean, how can you say? Because all of those athletes you just mentioned are, they've produced and they've shown their true colors in competition. They've all done well.
Yeah, and then you got the athletes that do it kind of in the middle. Like during the week, they'll do a regular 1 or 2 WODs in a day.
Yeah.
And then on the weekend, they'll hit 3 to 5 in one day. So that seems to me like a good balance in between. You're not going all out every day, all the time. So you're maintaining what you do all season long. But then on the weekends, you get that stimulus of, all right, I gotta commit to this whole day worth of training.
Yeah. That's actually, that's how it's a different sport, but how the Bergeners approach it. Every Saturday is a competition day.
Right.
They literally they total out, and that's how they do it. So you're ready for that. Of course, you don't know the format of regionals going in, but you can assume a few things about it, right?
Yeah.
Most likely multiple workouts in a day. day, maybe.
Yeah.
And you can start to structure your training like that. So real quick, I didn't necessarily get an answer. So what are you doing from here on out?
Here on out, now it's kind of go time. I'm psyched now. I love the way Opens has brought out a lot of my weaknesses in terms of light load, high volume. It's just not stuff that I train a lot during the year, but I did okay. I didn't fall apart. I'm I think top 5 maybe.
Yeah, you're still hanging
top
tough
10.
I'm in
regionals, so that's important. But from now on, I'm psyched to just I can't wait to get home and start training, and I don't want to miss a single day. And it's really about weaknesses now, weaknesses and things that I just need to expose myself to. Finding huge hills and carrying stuff up it, and I don't know, whatever I can creatively come up with.
Did something come up in the Opens that kind of kicked you in the butt?
A lot, yeah. Just the general high volume, push-ups, chest to bar pull-ups, all that stuff is just not.
At least it wasn't Jackie. Have I told you about Sue Have's
Oh.
Jackie?
Yeah. We've talked about this.
But so obviously you have some stuff that you can kind of specifically work on.
Let's talk about your weaknesses.
Let's not.
Hey, you made it to the regionals.
I made it to regionals.
Nobody's interested in that. You know what? I actually would have qualified for regionals if they stopped the entire competition last Friday.
On Friday?
Yep,
You were there.
would have been at number 60.
Only 2% of the population
Correct.
had posted their times.
Details. So JJ, any other athletes who had a really interesting approach to you, or
working on their weaknesses is a common theme that in the athletes that I spoke to. I spoke to Peter Edgett, and he has competed in more competitions, or he's one of the very few that has competed in all of the games. And so he's an athlete that's very experienced when it comes to preparing for the games.
faster teammate, by the way.
oh, plug.
Throw that in there. But Peter said that he is going to be most prepared for the things that he would least like to see during the games.
Yeah.
So not increasing the volume a whole lot, but keeping things consistent.
So it's like we said, it's almost a recipe for success to do these constantly varied high functional
How'd you screw that up?
constantly varied
You must be
functional
on
moves at high
the L1
intensity,
staff.
and then work on your weaknesses as well. We're going to move on. Here's actually a list of my weaknesses that you can get through 1 through 20.
We'll be studying those.
We'll be right back.
Just rolled up on my hog. We're here at CrossFit 801, my home gym in Midvale, Utah. Let's go on inside, see what's going on. So today we're going to talk about the 10 general skills of This one's going to test, once again, one of the 10 general skills of physical fitness. Today's subject, accuracy. I am Tony Budding. What you'll be doing, it's a 1 rep max involving this lacrosse ball, this ring. You will twist 10 times, at which point you will throw the ball through the ring. Upon successful completion, you will move back 1 mat. You will continue to go until you can no longer get it through the rings. We will be demonstrating with CrossFit stud Chris Stowe and CrossFit babe Miranda Oldroyd. So are you good at getting it in the hole? Kidding?
Usually I try to get most of it inside.
There you have it. Ready, 3, 2, 1, go. Three, 2, 1, go. You do need to stay behind the lines. I am giving you a warning since
That
this
was
isn't
on
the
the line.
games.
On the line.
This isn't an official sanctioned event. We're gonna let the last one slip. 10. Here she goes, folks. Oh! Do you have any plans to kip your spins? So both the contestants, or the athletes I should say, 1 round each. Looks like they need to work on getting it in the hole. So just finishing up here at CrossFit 801 in Utah, we have just tested the 2nd general physical skill of fitness, accuracy. Keep an eye out, we might be hitting a box near you. Back to you guys at the desk, Rory.